Good evening, everyone. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Arena for Varsity Girls Basketball Competition, the season opener of Season 18 of Mustangs Ladies Basketball. Please welcome our guests from Holy Trinity Episcopal Academy. They are the Tigers. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our game this evening, we invite you to please stand as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? And now, let's meet the teams. We'll begin with our guests from Holy Trinity. And we'll start at guard with freshman number 1, Kylie Green. Next up for the Tigers, 5'5" senior number 3, Savannah Schultz. Senior number 5, Chidalyn Morale. At power forward, 6' junior number 15, Tiana Washington. At wing, a 5'8" junior, number 23, Michaela Bell. And finally for the Mustangs at forward and center, 6'2" junior, number 32, Sanaya Asanya. The head coach of the Tigers is Will Gibson, with assistant coaches Chris Bryant and Eric Norris. For the Mustangs, the head coach is Jerry Middleton, with assistant coaches Virgilo Joseph, George Spearman, and DeAndre Cranston. The officials for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. Those of you here in the arena, make sure that your friends and family back home, whether they are in Melbourne, elsewhere in Apopka, or anywhere in the world, make sure they know that they can tune in live to tonight's game. We are simulcasting on nfhsnetwork.com as well as YouTube. Just open up the YouTube app on your favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device and search Wekiva Sports. And we want to extend a warm welcome to those of you who have done just that. My name is Mark Barchi, the Sports Information Director here at Wekiva High School and voice of the Mustangs. And I am joined by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through tonight's season opener of Season 18 for Wekiva Women's Basketball. And Neil, this is last season, I think, nobody really expected anything out of Wekiva, and they delivered in a big way. This season, expectations are actually starting out in the black.
Yeah, as our first possession, no points, and Holy Trinity will take over now. 0-0. As you heard Mark say, just underway in the season opener, home season opener for Wekiva. What Mark was also referring to was Wekiva made a Final Four trip last year. First time, of course, the 9th time in 12 seasons. As underneath, that's rejected.
Beautiful block there by Asanya, and she's the tallest person on the floor right now. Look for that a lot from her tonight.
Wekiva, 9 times in 12 years, making it to at least the state Final Four. And of course, Tommy Butts took him 8 times in 10 years, and then Jerry Middleton took over. It was his first trip last year. It was a nice, easy pass and a nice basket as well, making the withdrawal.
Tiana Washington puts the Mustangs on the board.
So Wekiva finishing 15-9 regular season. They were the runner-ups in District 6A 6 championship tournament. Went into the FHSAA playoffs with a 16-10 record as a slash through the middle from Kylie Green, her 10-foot jade, no dice, tracking down that long rebound. And back is Green, out to the corner there with Frazier, and she buries
Samantha
the deuce.
Frazier on the jumper for the Tigers.
So offensive rebound leads to points, and we are tied at 2-2. Just a minute and a half in, long range. No dice. Kareem's off that rebound, high rebound as well. And actually went out of bounds.
The rebound is off the backboard equipment. That's the same as out of bounds. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 1, Shania Poole.
So I heard Coach Middleton yell out, hey, no rebounds to our left. So as I mentioned, 16-10 records. Wekiva went into the FHSAA playoffs. That was good enough to be the number 5 seed, which was the highest wild card. 4 district champions get 1 through 4, then 4 wild cards. And again, as the launch,
3 for Kylie Green.
A 5-2 first lead change, actually second lead change of the game. So Wekiva, again, as they went in, they were really finding the rhythm into the playoffs. And again, a 16-10 record, you certainly think that's worthy, a very solid playoff record. As I mentioned, number 5 seed as a turnover. Yeah, out of, well, it's actually a held ball.
Held ball, possession, Tigers.
So it is formally a turnover. And the story was Wekiva, certainly they were solidly in the playoff field as the number 5 seed, the highest wild card.
Paris Blackwood is into the game for the Mustangs.
But at number 5, you really didn't expect them to go all the way to the Final Four. And getting back to your point, Mark, again, is that high expectations this season. They got 3 starters returning along with a couple of transfers who were starting from their previous team. Washington has scored the only points so far, being one of them. That's no dice for Green. That's her 3rd tray attempt of the only 3 minutes in. And back to work. Holy Trinity goes, the Tigers. And the ball swiped away. Back the other way we go. Nope. It should have been an easy deuce for Asanya. Was unable to plant her feet. And it's just a long missed rebound. A long trip down for a missed field goal. And Holy Trinity with the opportunity to go up 7-2 or even 8-2. Little bit, not quite halfway through the first period, and there's another turnover. And Wekiva staves off falling behind by more than 1 possession. That's Jasmine Pooler bringing the ball up, one of the returners we mentioned, along with Michaela Bell and Sanaya Asanya. And
Sanaya Asanya! Swish on the jumper for 2.
5-4. And your two transfers in the starting lineup, Janiyah Poole, along with Tiana Washington. Jalissa Miles was on the team last year. So first regular season, we need to find our stride as well. 3:48 remaining. It's been a very spirited game so far, 5-4. Both these teams certainly looking like it is the first game of the regular season.
Savannah Schultz can't get it to fall. Offensive rebound, and it is a putback by Izzy Henderson.
Seen some good and some bad so far. Meanwhile, down low, there's another turnover. I couldn't really see who they were passing the ball to. Whoever it was did not get there, and back the other way we go.
Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 23, Michaela Bell.
Five, 7-4 lead for Holy Trinity, the Tigers. They go back to work, looking to increase it. They will not have any such luck. Ripped off by Bell, back the other way. Sanya with the easy
Sanaya
layup.
Sanya from Michaela Bell, stealing 2 for the Mustangs.
So the deuce, the steal leads to the easy deuce, and Wekiva regaining the lead. 8-7-6 lead, third lead change here in the first quarter, 2:51 remaining. Another turnover, quick of hand at the other end. Too hard off, it's Pooler. She was thrown just enough off by the defense. Turnovers continue, back to
Sanaya Sanya to Jasmine Pooler for 2 points off the TO.
So Pooler, the second leading scorer last year, 9 points and change. Certainly look like she's upping her game. Last couple of minutes, she certainly has found her mojo. As we now drop to 2:22 and an 8-7 lead for Wekiva. We've had 5 lead changes so far. Bell, top of the key. Swings it over to Morrell, and she'll kick it back out to Green. Drives through the lane, the dash. Can't get the slice, though, and off the rim. And a held ball.
Held ball. Possession Mustangs.
So Wekiva back to work, 8-7 lead. The largest of the game is 1 point. 1-on-1 with Pooler.
5 seconds under guard. Tigers ball. So Samantha Fraser gets statistically credit for a steal there.
5th turnover for Wekiva, 4 for Holy Trinity. 1:41 remaining first quarter. Into the corner, the 2-man game between Schultz and Morrell. Now they bring in Green, leading scorer as well, with 4 points.
Swatted away by Paris Blackwood. That's a morale booster for the Mustangs.
Ball
About 20
remains,
to go in first quarter.
possession remains with Holy Trinity. Down low, underneath, wide open Frazier. And she'll make the withdrawal, +1.
Samantha Fraser gets the basket and a chance to make it a 3-point play. Foul is called against Mustangs number 15, Tiana Washington. That's her first, the team's first.
And that, of course, was set up by Wekiva just not getting on their defensive assignment. A wide open Frazier just about 6 feet to the right of the basket on the baseline. And possession will remain with Holy Trinity, the Tigers. They now up 9-8, a 6 lead change.
3 for Savannah Schultz.
12-8, largest lead of the game for either team with a minute remaining after the tray. Brewer, top of the key, one-on-one, now picks up another defender, Frazier, air ball, right place, right time, Asanya, and unfortunately, though, she can't make the pass to her teammate in the corner, so another turnover for Wekiva, down 12-8, and a 5-0 run for Holy Trinity, and they have possession. On their right wing, the stop, pop, and drop, score the deuce for Green.
Kylie Green on the jumper.
So Green now with 5 points. Back the other way, 20 seconds remaining. Asanya trying to drive, attack. Nice floating deuce.
Sanaya Asanya for 2.
And with 7.7 seconds remaining, now another turnover.
Kylie Green did not put enough postage on that airmail.
5 turnovers for Holy Trinity, 6 for Wekiva. So again, seen a lot of good from these teams, but we've also seen some negatives, which of course is expected in your only your second regular season game. It's the first game at home for Wekiva. They're 0-1, down low to Asanya with 1 second. Gotta get rid of it. She did not realize that there was only a second left.
And that takes us to the end of the first quarter. It's been a back and forth contest, but the most recent momentum swing has been to the Tigers. It's a 4-point ball game. 14-10 is your score at the end of the opening 8 minutes here in the home opener of season 18, Mustangs versus Tigers. Back with more from Mustang Arena in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. We are ready to start the second quarter here, and Neil, it has been a back-and-forth contest. Wekiva had a 1-point lead, 10-9, and then it's been a 5-0 run for the Tigers to end the first quarter. They now lead 14-10 as we get ready to start the second 8 minutes.
6 lead changes in that first period. So Wekiva coming in 0-1. They lost their season opener to Haines City. Holy Trinity coming in 1-0.
And Neil, it's worth noting that it feels earlier than it is because of the way the FHSAA calendar has evolved. We actually have a full week of the regular season before Thanksgiving, which is, if you followed high school basketball for a long time, is something a little bit new.
Absolutely, Mark. And so Holy Trinity will bring the ball back in with that 14-10 lead. This 4-point lead also actually the second largest of the game. No, actually it is the largest of the game.
Stolen by Pooler, and she's very closely guarded by Kylie Green, not able to get anything to happen in transition, but the Mustangs will get an extra possession.
Mentioned turnovers, a big story statistically in the first half.
And there's another one right there. Kylie Green picks it off from Pooler.
That first quarter, 11 turnovers combined, 6 Wekiva, 5 Holy Trinity. The turnaround, that was Faber unable to connect. Long pass at the other end, Bell, and she floats in that
Michaela Bell from Asanya for 2.
So the long pass setting up the easy bank from the easy bank.
Now Michaela Bell gets a paw on it again, but she's not able to hold it down this time. Looked like we had something going under the basket. Nothing there. Asanya had it covered. And now, this time, the Mustangs pick up the rebound. That was Jaquela Johnson. Beautiful bounce pass to Jalissa Miles for 2.
So the second tie of the game. 14 all, 6:26 before halftime. So we've had 6 lead changes, but only 2 ties. Down low, trying to float in that deuce, slides off the rim. That was Faber trying to go back-to-back possessions with scoring.
Out of bounds, it stays with the Tigers. Ball in right under the basket, and I think Jasmine Pooler got a piece of it. Michaela Bell tries to rebound it halfway down the court and can't keep her dribble going. Kylie Green, 2 attempts in a row, can't get that to go, and a fight under the basket, and we are going to get a foul called. I think it is going to be against Fraser, and it is. Samantha Fraser is called on the hold. That's her first personal foul, the team's first of this quarter. Mustangs get the ball at their own baseline, and Sanaya Sanya will set it up. No full court pressure so far tonight. Saving their energy for the second half, perhaps.
$14-all, Wekiva with an opportunity.
Bounce pass is deflected. Fraser and possibly Green got a piece of that one. Set up the turnover. Now we go to the other side. Some contact. It's a no call, though, as Kylie Green's 3 bounces off. And now it's on the floor. Mustangs have to get rid of it. Back to Holy Trinity again. Butterfingers in the key, and Sanaya Sanya says, well, I'll take that. Pooler now matriculating the ball to the front court, and, well, Johnson was open, but she didn't want the 3 that time. Beautiful layup opportunity for Pooler, but she's not able to cash in, and we are still locked up at 14.
Both teams with their opportunities unable to convert, and defense having something to do with that. 4:53 before halftime.
Foul is called against the Mustangs. Number 3, Jaquela Johnson.
So far,
that's her first personal foul, the team's second. And that was on the floor, so no foul shots for that.
So far, fouls have not been an issue for either team. And Holy Trinity, the Tigers will go back to work. Again, just under 5 minutes, 14-14. And the splash
3
from the left
for
corner.
Kylie Green.
17-14 lead. 7th different lead change of the game, including coming out of ties. Back the other way, Wekiva looking to answer. They will not. Another turnover.
Schultz got a piece of that one, and, excuse me, that was Jadalyn Morrell. Now Jaquela Johnson turning up the heat, and picks up a steal for her teammate, Michaela Bell, who will stop, pop, and drop. That's Michaela Bell for 2.
Lead down to 17-16. 5-point lead, the largest of the game. 4-point lead. That was at the end of the first quarter, 14-10. Now 1-point lead for Holy Trinity. The fake and the stop, pop, and drop from just inside the tray.
Kylie Green adds the jump shot for the Tigers, and we'll pause for a timeout. 30-second timeout requested by the Tigers, their first timeout of the game. Back with more from Mustang Arena in a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. 3-point contest right now, as it's a 1-possession game for the Tigers over the Mustangs, and the Tigers take their first time out. We're coming back from that right now with 3 minutes, 53 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Mustangs have the ball at their own baseline.
I've seen a number of turnovers. Both teams, 17 turnovers combined, but we've also seen a good field goal, a lot of fast breaks. Both these teams scoring more than half their points off fast breaks. 3:40 before halftime. This is a season opener at home for Wekiva. Pooler unable to connect, bounds off. A couple of hands touches it, and coming up with the ball is Morrell. Quickly up to Green, your leading scorer. She drives that lane, no dice, nowhere to go. Pooler, nice job of getting back on defense. The two-man game between Green and Schultz. Now over to the corner, back up to Schultz. Excuse me, that's Morrell. Down in the corner, Green, the over-the-top move with the ball, no dice. Slides off the rim.
Neil, you know, we have not seen 30-second timeout called by the Mustangs. What I started to say there, Neil, is we have not seen a ton of transition, fast break, full court pressure kind of stuff. Each team is pretty much sticking to their half court so far tonight, but we're going to take a break as the Mustangs take their 30-second timeout. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. 3:06 to go here in the second quarter. Both coaches taking 30-second timeouts almost back-to-back on consecutive possessions. And Neil, what I started to say as we were going into the break is that pretty much both teams have kept to the half-court set. We haven't seen fast break attempts. We haven't seen transition attempts. We haven't seen full-court pressure really being put on either side. Both of these teams, I guess it's the first week of the season, playing relatively conservatively here as we get the little bunny attempt from Jacayla Johnson. That's not going to go, and Kylie Green has this rebound.
Yeah, Johnson, we also want to mention she's a transfer, even though she's not starting. Well, there was an air ball and swiped up by Paris Blackwood, also a returner. Johnson transferred for DME. She's a freshman, and she actually started for DME last year as an 8th grader, so that's quite impressive, regardless of whether it's a private school or an alternative school or public.
Yeah, whenever I look at these rosters for private schools that are combined middle high schools, I blink a couple of times when I see graduation years that go out past 2029.
I just want to mention, though, Johnson, again, she was starting on the varsity team, or she played on the varsity team. That wasn't a middle school team with DME last year. Good defense, a couple of Mustangs. Wekiva getting in the passing lane. Unfortunately, couldn't see, I believe that's Blackwood. Yeah, that was Blackwood, unable to corral and set her feet after grabbing the ball. And so that actually goes down as 2 turnovers, 1 for each team. The good news for Wekiva, those trailing 19-16, is that does stop Holy Trinity's momentum. You know, they're not going to get, they got to reset their offense. Inbound to Morrell. And back to work Holy Trinity goes with that 19-16 lead. 5 points, 4 points the largest. That was at 14-10 at the end of the first quarter. Into the corner, the long range, the tray from Stewart. Scramble underneath after no dice. And loose ball, and there was a foul. I believe that's going to go against Wekiva.
Push is called against Mustangs number 0, Jasmine Pooler, her first tonight, the team's 3rd of this quarter.
So talked about at the very beginning of the game, Wekiva, a team coming off a 1-win season. Last year, as we inbounded, they not only rectified it, they went 19-10 and made a 9th trip in 12 seasons to the final state Final Four, 14-12 at the other side for Holy Trinity.
So if there was ever any question over whether Wekiva could be a presence without Tommy Butts, Coach Middleton answered that question last year. And now the ball rolls unimpeded all the way into the backcourt. And it is ultimately Kylie Green that chases it down. Now we're going to get a floater on the baseline, and there it is. That's Jazz Holmes. Picks up her first points of the night.
And also the largest lead of the game for either team at 5 points. Doesn't catch rim. Skying and doing Windex work is Holmes. She's off to the races. Good job by Asanya to get back.
And that's maybe the most serious attempt at a transition play I've seen all night from Jazz Holmes there. Zanaya Asanya still managed to get ahead of it, though, and now we're going to pause for another timeout. A lot of test and adjust here in week 1 of the regular season. Mustangs request their second 30-second timeout of the game. Back with more from Mustang Arena in a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher calling tonight's game. And we have been here the whole way, all 18 seasons. Well, 17 now 18, with this game starting it off. 5-point lead for the Tigers, their largest lead of the game. They had it up to 4 at the end of the first quarter. And now the Mustangs trying to make sure that it isn't more than that at the end of the second quarter.
Holy Trinity leading for almost an entire quarter. They took the lead roughly with a minute remaining in the first quarter. And now the launch clunks off that rim. And it was Poole back the other way. Chance to get its largest lead of the game, and no doubt about it.
Kylie Green for 3.
So Green,
13 points for her. She has more than half the total offensive production of the Tigers tonight as we dip under 20 seconds to play. Now wide open, but too hot for Jacayla Johnson.
Yeah, and I'll check it at halftime, but I'm sure half her points have come from the tray. That Green being, she took 3 in the first minute or so. She's heating up though now, as they say, at the other end, trying to make the withdrawal. The teller denies, and that will bring the first end to a half. Again, a 6-0 run at the end of the first quarter, putting a 14-10 lead for Holy Trinity. Now an 8-point lead, 24-16 in the regular season home opener for Wekiva, looking to return to the state Final Four.
That takes us to halftime. It's an 8-point ball game. 24-16 your score at intermission here in the home opener of season 18 from Mustang Arena. Back with more after the break. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher, taking you through the home opener of Season 18. It's the Holy Trinity Tigers versus the Wekiva Mustangs. And Neil, strange echoes of the boys' game that we watched on Tuesday night, where Wekiva comes out really strong and looks like maybe they're going to put the game out of reach quickly, but then run out of gas about halfway through the first quarter. And it's been Holy Trinity comfortably in a 2 to 3 possession lead ever since, and right now they enjoy their biggest lead of the game.
Yeah, 5 points at the end of the first quarter into the second. Actually, at the end of the first, as Wekiva gets to straighten the rain.
3 for Jacayla Johnson to open up second half scoring. And Neil, if Wekiva needed a shot in the arm, that is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, so again, Holy Trinity scoring 5 in a row. At the end of the first quarter, they went up 14-10 in the first at the break. And as you mentioned, Mark, it's been between 3 and 5 points since then. Now down 5 points, 3 and 8. It was 24-16. Now down to 5. Quick look, of course, Kyla Green, the freshman point guard / shooting guard, leading scorer with 12 points. No surprise there. Mentioned before the half, we take a look to see how many were from beyond 3-point range. It was actually only 2. She has 3 2-point field goals and 2 3-point field goals. Felt like it was a little bit more than that in terms of the 3-pointers, but certainly she heated up at the end of the first half, getting those 2 points in the last, those 2 trays in the last couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes. As a team, Holy Trinity shooting 6 of 18 from 2-point range. So certainly not something you want to write home about, but 4 of 8 from the tray. That was Holy Trinity, as there's your turnover. That ball rolling off the right shoulder of Bell.
Yeah, Jadalyn Morrell just got in the way there and did it perfectly. No illegal contact, I should say, so no foul
trapped
call.
her along the baseline and nowhere for Bell to pass. So Holy Trinity with the 5-point lead, going back to work, minute and a half into the third quarter. This is the home opener for Wekiva. Like to thank the fans as Green launches again. This time is short, ricochets off the near side, the right side, doing Windex work to Schultz, right place, right time, but she runs into the double team. Bell and Johnson.
Out of bounds, Mustangs ball.
And so both teams with the turnover here on their most recent possessions, as Pooler, one of your 3 returning starters, and she runs into a double team, and someone put a hand in there and made contact, whacked the wrist.
Foul is called against Tigers. Number 1, Kylie Green. That's her second personal foul. The team's second of this quarter. 2 in a row for Green. And now the ball is in.
Swinging around, Bell against the double team. The little bunny short pass over, and probably ill-advised. Wekiva will retain possession. Probably would have been better just to take that ball out and reset it. At least dribble back into that left corner. 5:57, third quarter. Wekiva down by 5 points. We haven't had any points in about a minute. And stop, pop, and drop for Bell from 6 feet.
Kayla Bell scores 2.
So Wekiva getting what it needs, a couple of possessions with scores. It's cutting that lead down to 3. Opportunity to gain some momentum, and that'll certainly help as Schultz ricochets off. Can't hold the rebound, though. And a second opportunity, a third opportunity, trying to make the withdrawal from the bank. Teller slams down, no. Long outlet over to Johnson, and not rejected, but certainly getting in the way was Green, and where you have a held ball.
Held ball, possession, Tigers.
So haven't seen a lot of offensive rebounds either throughout this game. Only 6 combined, 4 for Holy Trinity, 1 for Wekiva. And in that one possession, the last Holy Trinity, they almost matched that with 3 offensive rebounds. 5 minutes, third quarter, 24-21 lead for Wekiva. Home team, regular season opener. They're in the 2-3 zone now.
Traveling Mustangs ball.
And Not sure exactly what Wekiva did in that 2-3 zone, but it paid the dividends. There was no contact.
CC Asaya is in for the Tigers.
So Wekiva with an opportunity to tie this game or cut it to 1, looking for a third consecutive possession in which they score. Bell, the nice pass underneath to Washington, and she can't get the deuce to fall down. Rolls off the rim. Meanwhile, at the other end, off guard, off balance, is Henderson. Back and forth we go at the other end. The same thing. The shooter unable to position her feet and shoulder up to the basket.
Foul's called against number 3, Savannah Schultz. That's her first personal foul, the team's third of this quarter. And that will send the Mustangs to the free throw line.
So to use an old quote, you don't get points for aesthetics for how pretty they are, but Wekiva doing exactly what it needs to do, cutting into that lead here early in the third quarter.
Michaela Bell shooting 2.
An 8-point lead now down to 3, and an opportunity to get it all the way down to 1. Make that 2. And that, as a matter of fact, is the first free throw taken for Wekiva in this game. Only 1 taken for Holy Trinity as well. Wekiva looking to further its final positioning from last year. They made a run to the state Final Four, 0 of 2 from the line, and that's certainly something that Coach Middleton is not going to be happy about. Opportunity going by the wayside. Free throw supposed to be the easiest way to score. As Asanya getting her fingertips in and now trying to make a pass, and Wekiva catches the break. Washington picking it up, Miles picking it up. The long outlet to Bell, who makes the withdrawal from the bank.
Michaela Bell for 2.
So again, it's not pretty in this run, the 7-0 run for Wekiva, but all that matters is the points on the scoreboard, and then the 8-point lead at halftime is now down to 1 with 3:40. Chance for Wekiva to regain the lead. Bell making her presence felt, up, over, and not quite in, but she will go to the line. Again, the turnover facilitating that fast
Foul's
break.
called against number 5, Jalen Morrell. That's her first personal foul, the team's 4th of this quarter, and that will send Michaela Bell to the free throw line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs.
So Holy Trinity having trouble holding on to the basketball now. They only had 1 turnover through the first 5 minutes or so. Now minute 15, last minute 15, they've committed 4. And, of course, Wekiva taking advantage.
Checking into the game for Holy Trinity, number 15, Lorena Faber.
To tie this ball game up. And chance for the lead if Bell makes this. And score it. 2 beautiful looking strokes. And Wekiva back in the lead. 25-24. They haven't led since about a minute remaining in the first quarter. It's also the 8th lead change of this game. 7
It's
in
worth
that
noting
first
that
quarter.
we've gone 4.5 minutes, the entire third quarter, with 0 points for Holy Trinity. 9-0 run coming out of the break. So whatever it is that they did in the locker room, it worked.
And a chance now to up that lead to 3 points or even 2 possessions on the tray. As Pooler, one of the returning starters, 3 in total, and Asanya and Bell, the other 2. And possession will remain with Wekiva. 3:10, third quarter, 3:16, third quarter. Inbound from Pooler. She finds Miles, back to Pooler, give and go. She stomps through there. Someone got a hand in, and Holy Trinity comes up with it, now trying to get out of there. And they do at the other end. The
Long outlet pass to Lorena Faber for 2.
Faber with the easy deuce off that long pass.
And that's really, Neil, I think that might be the first successful, effective transition play I've seen by either team all night.
Asanya driving that lane, kicks it out. Everybody thought she was going to go for a tray. Instead, Miles, and she connects on the tray.
For Jalissa Miles.
28-26 lead for Wekiva. 2.5 remaining. So Wekiva not only retaking the lead for a second consecutive possession, but it is larger than the first, albeit only 2 points. Still, Wekiva certainly building some momentum here throughout this third quarter, finding their mojo, if you will. Schultz, air ball, nice rebound, right place, right time by Morrell. And she draws the foul right in front of the cheerleaders.
Foul's called against Mustangs, number 0, Jasmine Pooler, her second, the team's first of this quarter.
So the offensive rebound, that leads to an extended possession in terms of the time. 2:08 remaining.
So now we're good? Everything matches?
Who was that shot it, remind me? Is it Miles?
27-26 lead for Wekiva.
We have a scoring correction here. Jalissa Miles had her foot on the line, so that was only a 2-point basket. So now the score is corrected, a 1-point lead for Wekiva.
Turnaround Faber, stop, pop, and drop. The turnaround, nicely done.
Faber for 2 on the go-ahead basket.
28-27, 9th lead change. And the first 2 points scored in this quarter for
Foul's called against number 15, Lorena Faber, her first, the team's 5th. Penalty situation. At the line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs, number 32, Sanaya Sanya.
Sanya with 6 points. Again, one of 3 returning starters along with Pooler and Bell. Also want to point out, Bell was not a starter throughout the entire last season. Coach Middleton putting her into the starting lineup about a third of the season remaining. She was the 6th man.
New ball game, 28 all. Launch from the corner from the 7th grader, Cece Hisaya, is off the mark. And now the Mustangs trying to get something done in transition, but they're going to pay for it. That was Morrell ready to take advantage of the situation. And it's picked off on the other side. Michaela Bell. Let's see if she can make something happen. And a whack. Mustangs will go to the line. Foul is called against number 1, Kylie Green. That's her 3rd personal foul. Mustangs go to the free throw line. Jasmine Pooler shooting 2.
So Wekiva did not shoot a free throw in the entire first half. This will be their 7th and 8th attempt in the third quarter alone, as Wekiva goes back into the lead with that completed free throw. Unable to get the second, but again, Wekiva has the lead. Much different looking team here in the third quarter, starting on the defensive end. Not a surprise. That is the trademark of Jerry Middleton's coaching philosophy. And at the other end, Wekiva makes its first mistake of the third quarter, committing the foul.
Fouls calling against Mustangs, number 23, Michaela Bell. That's her 2nd personal foul, team 2nd of this quarter. And that will send number 5, Jalen Morrell, to shoot 2.
58.7 seconds remaining. And as we just talked about it, free throws have been scarce, not only for Wekiva, who did not shoot any in the first half, but Holy Trinity shooting only 1 in their first half, and this is their first 2 of the second half. So right now you can look at this a couple of different ways if you're looking at the stats. As Morrell, second shot, caroms off that rim. It's Sanya, got a hand, but unable to keep her balance. And the ball falls out of bounds. So that is an offensive rebound to Holy Trinity. Long inbound, right wing, back up to the top of the key. Down low, the spin for Faber, not able to catch rim. Couldn't see which Mustang got in the way, but someone got in the way, altered that shot. And now Wekiva at the other end, out to Asanya. She launches, caroms off that rim. Back the other side, no dice on the second attempt from Bell. So a lot of up and down in those last 20 seconds or so, but no points. And we do get a foul, though.
Foul call against number 32, Sanaya Asanya. That's her first personal foul, the team's third. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 15, Tiana Washington.
So Washington, a transfer as well. Again, Wekiva looking much different in this second half than they did in that first half. Looks like they found their basketball legs, if you will. Of course, defense has been the catalyst for that. Almost another turnover. Meantime, stop popping the iron kind for the drop to Holmes.
Holmes for two.
We're tied at 31-29. Another lead change as Pooler drives through that lane, can't get the tray.
That takes us to the end of the third quarter. The Mustangs with a big run to open up the third quarter. They're racing the deficit of the first half, but it's a 2-point ball game for the Tigers going into the final break. 31-29 is your score with 8 minutes left to play in opening night action of season 18. Back with more in a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. We are ready to start the fourth quarter. Mustangs have the opening possession of these final 8 minutes, and they trail by one basket. It's 31-29, 2-point ball game as we go into the fourth quarter. This is the second game overall for Wekiva, the first at home, and the tray launched by Asanya not there, but second chance basket by Tiana Washington. That ties it up at 31. New ball game, 7.5 minutes to go here.
Offensive rebound playing the role in that. Tying the score. Holy Trinity, nice movement. Rotate to the weak side, the left side. No dice on that tray for Holmes.
Now that rebound's going into the splash zone.
Wekiva will go back to work, chance to regain the lead. Holy Trinity led for most of that first quarter, the majority of the first half, down to Asanya, and she tries to muscle it in. We'll draw the foul, though.
Sanaya Asanya is fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot two. The foul is called against number 22, Samantha Fraser. That's her second personal foul, first of this quarter. Asanya is shooting two.
Asanya at the line with 7 points. And she gives Wekiva the lead. 2-of-2 from the line. Asanya looking smooth and confident. And Wekiva back in the lead with 7:05 remaining.
That's a lot of confidence Wekiva displayed there. They were not even going to vie for the rebound if it didn't go in.
14 lead changes. Didn't see any in the second quarter. 7 in the second half now. And now Wekiva with an opportunity to get its largest lead of the game If they can get 2 points here, Asanya down low, swings it around, makes the withdrawal from the bank, +1.
Sanaya Sanya and 1. Foul called against Tigers. Number 15, Lorena Faber, her second personal foul, the team's second. Asanya shooting 1.
So now Asanya up to 9 points. 11 points.
Well, 10 going for 11.
10. And she won't get it. There is a whistle, though.
Lane violation called against the Tigers. Still one more shot.
And Mark, I can't remember the last time I saw this with 6.5 remaining.
I'm sorry, Neil. You were right the first time. It was 11 points for Sanaya.
No Wekiva Mustangs at the free throw line. And Asanya makes Holy Trinity pay for their mistake. Got a second chance and nothing but net, or slide in off the rim.
And again, Wekiva really committed to providing 0 opportunities for a transition play. I mean, I've mentioned that several times tonight, and it's not to say that the teams aren't making an effort. It's that the focus has been on defense, that the transition opportunities just aren't there tonight.
A 7-0 run for Wekiva, and there's another turnover. Again, you just pointed out the defense, Mark. Down through the lane, Pooler, the fake pass, too hard, clinks off the rim, and she hits the ground with one of the Holy Trinity players. That was Morrell. Back down low to Miles, Washington, who floats in.
Washington 4-2. And we'll pause for a timeout. Full timeout requested by the Tigers.
9-0 run for Wekiva. Holy Trinity yet to score in the fourth quarter. 38-31 your score, 6 minutes remaining from Mustang Gymnasium.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Tigers have the ball at their own baseline coming in. 6 minutes to go in the game, and once again, Neil, it seems that the opening few minutes of each quarter have belonged to Wekiva. This one no exception. We'll see if Wekiva can keep that momentum going.
Well, the good news, though, is they have gotten some separation. That 7-point lead. They are currently on a 9-0 run, although now an opportunity from the free throw line.
Foul on the floor is called against Jasmine Pooler. It's her third personal foul, the team's first of this quarter. So it's not a shooting foul.
No, not a shooting foul. In the 9-0 run, Holy Trinity yet to score in this fourth quarter has been facilitated more than anything else by 3 turnovers. Of course, Asanya going to the line a couple of times. She got the old-fashioned 3-point play. There you see the defense collapsing, and now Holy Trinity will reset after getting the offensive rebound.
Yeah, the Tigers certainly not losing for lack of shots taken. They have been excellent on the offensive boards all night, and now it pays off. 3 for Kylie Green.
Much needed points for Holy Trinity.
16 points for Green, so she still, late in the game, has nearly half of the offensive production of the Tigers, and now we're going to get a foul.
Asanya doing Windex work, brought her bottle and the cleaning.
Hold is called against Liz Stewart. It's her first, the team's third of this period. Mustangs ball at the opposing baseline.
So Wekiva has also picked up its offensive rebounding in the second half with 8. They only had a couple in the first half.
Checking into the game for Holy Trinity, Samantha Fraser. For the Mustangs, Jakayla Johnson.
5.5 minutes remaining. 5:10 remaining. And a whistle. on that inbound pass. Wekiva's defense has certainly come alive here in the second half. A much different looking team in this regular season opener. About 200, well, maybe 175 fans in attendance. I want to also point out something if you're a regular watcher of our broadcast, which, by the way, and there's your first turnover of the quarter for Wekiva. We do appreciate you following us. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast as much as we do bring them to you. Cheerleaders usually on the right side as we go bank.
Passed into Izzy Henderson for 2.
And that was way too easy for Holy Trinity. A quick pass and an open player there. Cuts the lead to 2 points. And now a 7-0 run. For
5 seconds under guard. Tigers ball. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Paris Blackwood.
So now 5 consecutive points scored by Holy Trinity after Wekiva had scored 9 in a row and surged into the lead. And a 7-point lead. They could take the lead with the tray, certainly can tie it as well. Green, your woman, your player to take that shot.
Kylie Green from Jadalyn Morale for 3. Well, Neil, we talked about the Mustangs' ability to maintain the momentum built early in the quarter into the late quarter, and here we are again at a 1-point ball game. Now a lead for the Tigers, their first of this quarter.
15th lead change of the game. Schultz puts her hands in the way. And
Savannah Schultz steals 2 for the Tigers.
So mention Holy Trinity turned the ball over 3 times.
And I see the entire coaching staff of the Tigers getting up and shouting at their team to get back and set up that half-court defense.
So mention just like a minute and a half ago, that Wekiva, that 9-0 run was facilitated by 3 turnovers committed by Holy Trinity, and Wekiva's returned the favor. 3 turnovers as well now in a row since the last timeout.
Stay up, 30, stay up.
30-second timeout requested by Holy Trinity.
So Coach Gibson wants to talk it over with his team. Again, they are now the team on the roll, a 7-0 run. They're back in the lead, actually 8-0 run. They're now in the lead by 3 points, 41-38.
Up here, I only.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. 41-38. It's been a pendulum swinging back and forth all game long. And right now the pendulum is in favor of the Tigers. Still a 1-possession ball game though, 3:53 to go.
15 lead changes. The most recent by Holy Trinity. As you just heard Mark say, both these teams have built that pendulum swinging. The high lob shot.
Kayla Bell
has been built on runs.
12 points in the books for Michaela Bell. She is one of 2 players in double figures, Sanaya Sonia being the other with 12.
3.5 remaining, now down 41-40, 1-point lead as Holy Trinity back on the offensive end, and Green swinging through that line, trying to sweep, and she will draw the foul, contact.
Foul is called against Jacayla Johnson. That's her second personal foul, a second for the team this quarter.
Neither team in any kind of foul trouble as of now. 3:24 remaining. 3 fouls for Holy Trinity.
Now, Kylie Green is the only one who's, well, Green and Pooler are the 2 on the court that have 3.
Swings through the lane and the soft touch.
Jadalyn Morale from the key for 2.
Back up to a 3-point lead. 3:10 remaining. Wekiva gets the ball quickly. Couple of passes, Bell sweeps through, stop, pop, can't get the bank to drop. Green ripping down the rebound. She's been the offensive star, but there shows her defensive wares, and she will now go back to the line, a familiar sight with her controlling the
against
offense.
Mustangs number 3, Jacayla Johnson, her 3rd personal foul, the team's 3rd. That will send Kylie Green to the line, shooting 2 for the Tigers.
So as you mentioned, Green with 19 points. 2:59 remaining, 3-point lead for Holy Trinity. Opportunity to get it up to 2 possessions. And we mentioned, of course, 15 lead changes. There were no lead changes in the second period and about halfway through the third quarter. Wekiva, both these teams have gone on runs of at least 7-0 since then to spur them into the lead. Wasted opportunity for Holy Trinity, and now the full court press. Wekiva breaks it, and they break it, but the residual effect, a bad pass underneath. Back in the corner, Schultz drives, kicks out to Green, looks at the tray, slapped away by Washington.
Traveling Mustangs ball.
So that was the quickness of that ball moving around.
Yeah, Green had to go down to the floor, and there wasn't any way that she could recover from that without traveling. Didn't have any help there. So now we finally see players in the backcourt on both sides of the ball.
2:30 remaining. The launch from Pooler. Kareem's off that weak side, or strong side.
You see Wekiva leaving
side.
3 back, which limits their rebounding opportunities, but also closes the door on transition opportunities for the Tigers.
And now Holy Trinity, for one of the few times tonight, showing some patience.
Block shot by Washington. That's twice in a row she's gotten in the way of one. And it's going to go out of bounds and stay with the Tigers. 2:06 to go here. Mustangs need to make up at least one possession.
Wekiva remaining in the 2-3 zone. They've gone most of the game in that 2-3 zone. As Asanya gets her hand in the way, and right place, right time is Bell. She picks it up, one-on-one, decides to kick it out, down through the lane. The over-the-top move, looked like there was a lid on that basket. Miles ripping that down. Washington, 3 opportunities for Wekiva, can't drop it. But again, if you're the coach, in this case, Coach Middleton, you gotta like the fact that you were getting offensive rebounds, especially late in the game. Eventually they're gonna have to fall, and there's a whistle. A slap as Green swept through that lane going to the weak side.
Michaela Bell is called on the hit. That's her 3rd personal foul, the team's 4th, and that will send Kylie Green to the line shooting 2. So Green here with an opportunity to make it a 20-point ball game.
You mean a 2-possession game?
No, I mean personally for her, a 20-point ball game.
Individual score.
Also worth noting, that was Wekiva's 4th foul, so that means that they will have the penalty situation for the rest of the game against them. And now Green does convert her 20th point of the game and makes it a 2-possession ball game. $1:25 remaining. Bounce pass, difficult bounce pass. Asanya manages to come up with it anyway, goes to the corner, and it's off the rim.
Just nicked that right side rim, and Wekiva will not catch the break there.
Rebounding has been really, really tough. I've not been keeping rebounding stats here at the table, but anecdotally from the eye test, I would say that Holy Trinity is winning the rebounding game both offensively and defensively, and that's been a real key to why they've been able to stay in it and, in fact, be 2 possessions up here as we go into the last 60 seconds.
44-40 score. That's Green, your leading scorer, does not get the roll. Iron kind to Wekiva. They dodge the proverbial bullet, and they'll have a shot to cut into that lead as we drop under a minute.
Got to move here. Asanya goes to the paint and draws the foul, but it was before she went into the shooting motion. Foul is called against number 22, Samantha Fraser, on the floor. It's her 3rd personal foul, the team's 4th. So that means that next time we will be in penalty both directions. Both teams will be shooting on every foul other than offensive ones for the rest of the game.
It's now 5 fouls per period, sends you to the line as Wekiva looking to score, cutting into that lead. And
full timeout requested by the Mustangs.
So Coach Middleton wants to talk over it. Still not impossible, a 2-possession game. A 2-possession lead for Holy Trinity, but they have been controlling the flow of the game and getting the stops when they need it. 44-40, Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. A 44-40 lead for Holy Trinity. They ripped off 7 straight points with between about 3 minutes and a minute and a half to surge into the lead. This has been a game of runs back and forth. Teams surging into lead, both of them with 4 of runs of at least 7-0. But now it comes down to this. Wekiva needs to score with 41 seconds remaining, or we're going to be in a foul situation.
And Neil, this has been of the 4 preseason games that you and I called and the 1 regular season game for the boys we've called. This is the first game we've seen here at Wekiva that has come down to the last 60 seconds.
Yeah, Sonia on the left wing, one-on-one, now picks up the double team. Out to Pooler, 30 seconds, a fake pass, fade away, score it.
Jasmine Pooler,
just what Wekiva needed. They needed to score, now they need to stop. Going to a full court trap.
Traveling Mustangs ball.
Coach Gibson was calling for the timeout, but he couldn't quite get it in time. The refs deemed that he just didn't quite get it in time. So we come back from the timeout.
Timeout Mustangs, full timeout taken by Wekiva, their 4th. 21.5 seconds remaining. It's a 2-point ball game. Back with the exciting conclusion in just a moment.
For Wekiva, Holy Trinity with possession. Wekiva has the ball after the turnout. Down low from Asanya DeBell. The turnaround and score.
Yes! Bell for 2.
The turnover, a loose ball, and scramble with 5 seconds, and Coach Gibson calls the timeout.
Timeout.
Can't ask for a more exciting and dramatic finish. Wekiva with an opportunity. They first needed to score, but then the opportunity to get that last shot. Possession now with So 44-44 is your score. As we've mentioned throughout this game, this has not only been a back and forth game as we've had 16 lead changes and ironically only 5 ties. Of course, now this is the most recent, but they've been, for the most part, about 12 of them have been based on runs of at least 7-0 for both these teams. And certainly this is the regular season home opener for Wekiva, and it certainly has looked that way as we've seen a lot of good, a lot of bad, but coming down to the stretch with 5.1 seconds remaining, you can't ask for a better conclusion and a more dramatic and competitive game. Schultz will inbound, 5.1 seconds, and
too much time on the inbound. Mustangs ball.
So the third turnover in about 2 seconds since Wekiva tied the ball game. And again, it's not just turnovers, but the pendulum swinging and the chance of winning the game at the buzzer. Swinging as well. Man on man for Holy Trinity. And Sonia calls out the play. She throws the interception. One last shot. Green. It looked like Green was trying to take a shot, and then in mid shot in the air.
That takes us to the end of regulation, and we are still not ready to call this game. All right, here are your overtime rules. We put 4 minutes on the clock. It is considered an extension of the fourth quarter, so all team fouls and all team fouls and personal fouls will carry over from the fourth quarter into the overtime period. Each team gets one additional full timeout. That means Wekiva now has 2 full timeouts, and Holy Trinity also has 2 full timeouts remaining. And the possession arrow will be cleared, and we will do a new jump ball. Back with more in a moment. Yes.
44 all as we head into overtime. This is Mustang Arena, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. It's a regular season home opener. Holy Trinity out of Melbourne providing the opposition, and it's been a competitive game throughout. We've seen 16 lead changes along with 5 ties, and certainly doesn't get any more dramatic than what we saw in the last 15 seconds or so as Wekiva scored 4 points to tie this ball game up, had 3 turnovers after they tied it with 5 seconds remaining.
So the Mustangs pick up the jump ball. And again, as mentioned going into the break, the rules for overtime is an extension of the fourth quarter. So that means even with the rule change, both teams are still in bonus. We're going to get a steal, a shot, and a basket. That's Jadalyn Morrell steals the first points of the overtime period.
As Sonia looked up, Morrell had different ideas. She looked down. At the other end, Wekiva needing the basket. Score it.
Answer from Tiana Washington.
Beautiful pass down low. Washington on the spin in the bank. At the other end, Green, the leading scorer, ricochets off. Trey no good. Schultz rips down the rebound. And possession will remain with Holy Trinity. Offensive rebound. 47 seconds into overtime, 47 seconds into overtime. Wekiva remains in the 2-3 zone, and we have a turnover to the foul.
Team control foul called against number 5, Jadalyn Morrell. That's her second personal foul, the team's 5th. No bonus shots for offensive fouls, but it turns the ball over to the Mustangs.
So both teams with a converted field goal attempt, both teams with the turnovers in the first minute of the overtime period. Wekiva trailing by 4, tied it up in the last 15 seconds, and no sooner did I say we were tied in turnovers than the errant pass. So Wekiva losing their opener to Haines City on the road. Last year they made something of a surprise run, at least in terms of at the start of the season. 15-9 regular season, 16-10 at the end, entering the FHSAA Class 6A playoffs. They won a game and then lost the final in the 6A 6th District Championship Tournament.
Foul is called against Mustangs number 32, Sanaya Asanya. That's her second personal foul, the team's fifth of this extended fourth quarter. At the line, shooting 2 for the Tigers number 22, Samantha Fraser.
So Frazier with 4 points. Again, Green the leading scorer with 20. Although one thing, again, Mark, we don't have statistician. It's a skeleton crew. It's just me. I'm Neil Fisher. Mark Barchi's also the public address announcer, the other voice that you're hearing. But I do not recall Green scoring a lot of points in those last 3 or 4 minutes there. It seemed like she was on 19 for most of those last 4 minutes, and that certainly has played a role in Wekiva being able to force this game into overtime.
Tiger lane violation. Mustangs ball.
So Wekiva with an opportunity to take a lead again. Down into the corner, the launch from Pooler, no dice. Skying, doing Windex work was Pooler. They come up with the loose ball again. Bell thinks about the tray. Instead, drives the lane. Stop, pop, no drop. It was a complete air ball. And right place, right time. Windex work is Morrell. She'll go to the line as now both teams are in bonus the rest of the way.
Foul is called against Jasmine Pooler, her fourth personal foul. Penalty situation continues for the Tigers. At the line, number 5, Jalen Morrell.
So Morrell with 5 points. Chance to break this tie. And she does. So 4 free throws roughly halfway through the overtime period for Holy Trinity, none for Wekiva. And they'll get 1 of 2. Strong rebound, Windex work, pulling out the Queens. Washington, quick pass to Bell. Too hard on the withdrawal. And now a chance to get that lead up to 3 or even 4 points.
Pooler gets back there to stop the transition play.
1:50 remaining as Holy Trinity brings it out. Green resets down low. And there's a travel.
Traveling. Mustangs ball.
Henderson taking that ball. You could see the back foot sliding as soon as she caught it. So another turnover, and more importantly, another opportunity, maybe not to gain control, but certainly put yourself in a better position in terms of the lead. Again, always easier to play when you're in the lead as opposed to behind, and it gets more harder as the game progresses, and we are in overtime. Man-to-man on Holy Trinity. Bell with a fake pass. Iron Time making the withdrawal from the bench.
Kayla Bell with a go-ahead basket.
Lead changes continue. 17 now. 1:25 remaining. Wekiva takes its lead. 48-47. Home opener. Holy Trinity looking to answer. They will not. Scramble underneath. And
Held ball. Possession. Tigers.
1:09 remaining. Wekiva looking for its first win of the 2024-25 season. Of course, this is only the second game. Regular season opener. Coming off a Final Four appearance last season. A somewhat unexpected.
Stripped by Janiyah Poole on the way up.
At least in terms of when the regular season started. 1:06 remaining now. Certainly, you can tell they are playing at Wekiva's home field, Mustang Gymnasium. Morrell looks right, looks left, gives the pass off. Back to Schultz at the top of the key. She drives that lane from the middle and draws the contact, sweeping through that lane.
Foul called against Jasmine Pooler. That's her fifth personal foul. She retires from the game with 5 points.
So Pooler, returning starter as well as the point guard. Good news is there's only 58 seconds remaining. Bad news is there is still 58 seconds remaining as Fowler's Pooler now having to retire. So it's going to be next man up for Wekiva at that point guard position as Schultz at the line. Opportunity to give her team, Holy Trinity, the lead. And that goes by the wayside. Sixth free throw attempt in overtime for Holy Trinity, none for Wekiva. 1 of 5 from the line. And make that 1 of 6, battle underneath, and possession remains with Holy Trinity. To be honest, Wekiva got too eager there. I couldn't see which two players, but two Wekiva players battled over that loose ball. So they'll go back to work, 55 seconds remaining. The pass, and off the knee of Frazier.
Out of bounds, Mustangs ball.
So Wekiva recovers. And the defense comes up big when they need it most. Still the 1-point lead. Man-to-man from Holy Trinity. They've gone man-to-man throughout this entire game. And Coach Middleton wants a timeout with 42.2 seconds remaining.
Timeout Mustangs, full timeout called by Wekiva. This is their second to last timeout.
Most important thing, and I'm sure Coach Middleton is reminding his players, don't turn the ball over, don't give an easy opportunity on the offensive end for Holy Trinity. 48-47 from Mustang Arena. Mustang Gymnasium, the site, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. They're in the white jerseys, and they will have possession, along with a 48-47 lead in overtime, 42.2 seconds remaining. Can't ask for a more dramatic, competitive, and thrilling game during the regular season, let alone to open up your home schedule. Wekiva's had that lead for about a minute now. They were down by 4 points with about 15 seconds remaining. Scored the last 4 points of regulation to force this overtime. And Sonia takes the pass from Bell. Now over to Poole.
Remember, Wekiva doesn't have to score here. They just have to not turn the ball over.
Yeah, talked about that right before the half, right before the timeout. I'm sure Coach Middleton reminded his players of that. That's the one thing you don't want to do is turn it over. And they'll catch a break there. Ball bounced off of Frazier. So
I think she might have done that on purpose, though. That's strategic. Like you can take an inbound situation there, just bounce it off of Holy Trinity.
So 21 seconds remaining. Both teams in bonus. And almost a turnover. Nice job by Bell to step in front of Schultz. Wekiva playing keep away so far. They've done a good job. They've taken 30 seconds off, and just like that,
timeout, Tigers.
And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I say they've done a nice job of playing keep away, the pressure gets to them. So they'll have to come up with one more stop. 9.1 seconds remaining in the regular season home opener for Wekiva. 48-47. Wekiva, the home team, in what's been a dramatic, thrilling, exciting game. If you like high school basketball, you tuned in on the right night. 48-47. They have possession with 42 seconds remaining. They drained 33 seconds off before the pressure from Holy Trinity finally got to them. And they will be inbounding the ball. Holy Trinity, that is, just to the left of the scorer's table, so they have to go about 2/3 of the court to their basket, the Wekiva basket. And And we'll see what Coach Middleton drew up here for the play. It's actually on the right side of the scorer's table, so just past the half-court line, about a foot. Again, 9.1 seconds remaining, 1 point lead for Wekiva. Regular season home opener, trying to get their first win of the season, losing their season opener. Ball comes in, 5 seconds, left wing, Asanya guarding from Schultz, shoots it up, no call, and it's going to be a turnover. Wait, nope. Okay, there is no foul, but the refs are now going to discuss.
And the ruling is that the ball last touched Wekiva, so it remains Tigers' ball at the opposing baseline, and we'll pause for another timeout. The Tigers take their final timeout. It'll be Tigers' ball at the opposing baseline when we come back with 1.3 seconds left in the ball game.
Wekiva with the 48-47 lead, regular season home opener, Mustang Gymnasium. And what's been a back and forth game, 17 lead changes, 5 ties. We are in overtime, only 1.3 seconds remaining. We'll see what Coach Gibson for Holy Trinity dials up for his team and players. Wekiva has held the lead since about a minute and a half left. They need to hold up 1.3 more seconds. Inbound from underneath the basket that Wekiva is defending. That's to my right. And during the break, the coaches were telling the players, hold your hand up, get in front of the offense. Here we go, the inbound pass. There it is, out of bounds. It will remain with Holy Trinity. I couldn't see who got their hand on that. It might have been Bell. But someone got a hand in. It was something of like a football pass where you're trying to lead the receiver to the ball. So 1/10 of a second remaining.
Well, I think there is. That seems to be an officials' conference here
As
questioning
of now.
whether the clock stopped at exactly the right moment. Let's see what we
here
got.
We go.
1 second.
So Wekiva will have to defend for another
Game
1
clock has
point.
been reset to 1 second.
1.1 second. Wekiva will have to defend again. Third time in this possession. It's as dramatic an ending as there is. The inbound from Green. Down low, tip. And there's the buzzer. Wekiva's defense holds the fort. They go into overtime, scoring the last 4 possessions. 4 points of regulation to tie the game at 44. They take the lead with a minute and a half remaining, and the defense comes up big, including one final stand 3 straight times on that last possession. Mark?
That takes us to the end of a thriller. 48-47 is your final score. The Mustangs hold on in a game that went back and forth more times than you could count. And they end up on top in overtime. A huge way to open up season 18 here from Mustang Arena. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out to support your Mustang and Tiger athletes. Thanks also to those of you who joined us online on YouTube or the NFHS network. For those of you here in the arena, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Those of you watching us online, please subscribe before you go. We will see you in a couple of weeks when we get back for more action against Horizon. And meanwhile, we'll see you on the road for the boys as they play at the Metro versus Florida Challenge next Tuesday. We hope you have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Until next time, good night from Mustang Arena.